Hi book friends, I'm Erin and this is Erin Go Read. It's been a little while. I actually mostly did a reading vlog for reading Beach Read by Emily Henry, and then I guess I forgot I was doing it because my clips just stopped. I was about to edit it and just put it up even though it was like 2 weeks ago, but I guess I never finished it. I finished the book, however. 5 stars, absolutely loved Beach Read. Not Beach Read. Did I say Beach Read? Book Lovers. Book Lovers by Emily Henry is what I'm talking about. I thought it was the first romance I've ever read, and that is actually not true. It's the first romance I've ever read and enjoyed. Last year I read Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert, and I just didn't get it. It wasn't like I didn't like it. It was like fairly enjoyable. I just didn't get it. And especially that whole series is super, super hyped. And I'm just like, am I missing something? So it just made me think, is romance just not for me? Which is silly to think after just trying one thing. But anyway, the reason I had read Book Lovers to begin with was just because I've just been just feeling really slumpy, like life slumpy for the last couple months. That is better. I'm like out finally of that kind of depressive rut that I've been in, fortunately. But my reading hasn't really picked back up, and part of that is just I'm super busy. But I have an oddly really slow Monday. I already spent a couple hours working at the gym, and all of my clients have canceled or rescheduled today except for one, and she is a Zoom client this afternoon. So that's really all I have to do, and I'm kind of like ahead of schedule, I'm on top of things. So after a pretty busy weekend, I'm just gonna take this as like a chill, read, relax, and just kind of like get some stuff cleaned up around the house kind of day. So what do I have going on? It tends to be when I am, when life is kind of chaotic, I tend to have a chaotic reading kind of situation, and that's what's going on right now. So I have the Ogress and the Orphans by Kelly Barnhill, which I had started in middle grade March, and I'm about a third maybe into that. Oh no, not even that. Dang it. No, yeah, that's where I am. Anyway, so I would love to make a good crack into this. It's really slow, and I think that's part of it's middle grade, and it's like cute and sweet, but it's kind of slow, and so I'm hoping if I can just give myself a good 20 minutes to get into it, I can like really plow through. That's the hope. I also started and did not get very far at all into Damnation Spring by Ash Davidson. I never read with book covers on, but I love this green. The actual cover to this is beautiful. And so there's that. The book that I'm reading most successfully, although not very far into it considering the length, is East of Eden by John Steinbeck. Woo, I'm gonna knock things over. So I am 177 pages into about a 550 page book or so, and I am fairly into this. I'm just finding it hard to sit down and read for any significant length of time. So that's what I plan to do right now, and I'm starting with The Ogress and the Orphans because it's middle grade. Maybe I can just power through and get this finished. So there's this small town, there's an orphanage in this town, and the matron who runs it, they barely get by. The kids, they rely on contributions that they're supposed to be funded by the city, and they're really not, and they keep getting these kind of care packages of food. And it turns out that these care packages are coming from this ogress who moves into town, and because she's an ogress, everybody thinks that she's, not good, basically. And so at some point, there's going to be some interaction, I imagine, between the orphans and the ogress. They will find out that they are her benefactor, or that she is the benefactor and benefactee, however you say that. There's also all these crows. The ogress has all these crows. So I haven't read this in a couple months, and so I'm going to be kind of reacquainting myself as to what exactly is going on. But I think the chapters alternate between being at the orphanage and being with the ogress and her crows. And Kelly Barnhill was the author of The Girl Who Drank the Moon, which I absolutely loved. Also kind of slow, but I feel like this is even I feel like this is slower, but she has the same kind of allegorical way of talking about a larger topic, which I will find more about what that actually is, kind of remind myself as I get back into it. So there you have it. I think I'm going to set a 30-minute timer and just power through and read. I've got Lo-Fi Girl on my TV, giving me some background lo-fi beats. I'm going to stop talking and actually read. Alexa, set a timer for 30 minutes. Well, that was a fail. I read about 10 pages. It's getting really sleepy, just totally nodding off. And so I thought, okay, I'll just close my eyes for a few minutes. 2 hours later, had a nice nap. So now I will get back to it. It's a couple days later. It's Wednesday. I've officially DNF'd the Ogress and the Orphans. I just don't care. I read maybe another 40 pages or so, and I just don't care. Whatever. The big kids are spending the day with their other grandpa, and so I just have Charlie today. And we went on a walk, and there's a little free library that's usually like 90% filled with kids' books. And there happened to be a Jasmine Guillory party of 2 in there, and it reminded me that I had started a Jasmine Guillory, the wedding date, a couple months ago when I was just amidst my major just kind of life slump, and I was enjoying it and I just hadn't gotten back to it. So this is about Alexa and Drew. Alexa works in politics. She works for the mayor of Berkeley, and she runs into this guy Drew in an elevator that gets stuck. He needs a date for his ex's wedding, and she agrees, and then they end up really hitting it off. Okay, so that's like the premise of the book. We are now through the wedding at this point, through the wedding weekend, and kind of like what will become of them at this point. So, bless you. It's, I've just kind of speed read probably like 50 or 60 pages of this. I'm maybe a third of the way through it at this point, and really, really enjoying it. So, I don't know, could I actually be like a contemporary romance reader? It might be a thing. I don't know. I certainly would definitely give, I'm enjoying this. I picked up this. I would definitely give Emily Henry another read. Yeah, it might be a thing, and it might just be exactly what I need right now, especially given the fact that the other thing I'm reading is just kind of so heavy. East of Eden. Completely different kind of sphere. But this is the perfect thing to be able to read in, like, with the little one around and being distracted, and I just don't have to think very hard about it. So yeah, Erin, go read The Romance Reader. I don't know. Can't even say it without laughing. I'm now about halfway into the book, and we've reached the problem, the big crisis breakup situation that happens. I hope that's not a spoiler. Like, that happens in every, I don't even read romance, and I know that that's a thing that happens. Okay, so we're at that point, and I just found this like a really weird sentence. Like, why would you write it this way? She's trying to kind of pull herself together right before she goes like in public at her office, and she says she splashed cold water on her face, repaired her makeup, and installed a smile on her mouth before she went back down and knocked on Theo's door. Installed a smile on her mouth? I can't even say it right because I want to say face instead of mouth. Installed. It's the installed and the mouth, the part that's throwing me and just made me stop in my tracks. So, a little change of scenery. It's now Friday afternoon. It's 5:59, and I am at my aunt and uncle's house. I am dog sitting, and neither of the dogs are with me. They're staying inside where it's nice and cool, but I'm outside where it's like 103 degrees out. I am in the shade though, but I'm going to enjoy some books by the pool. But first, I want to talk about, I finished what was that book? The Wedding Date. I finished The Wedding Date, and I really, really loved it. The kind of central, what's it called? The central conflict throughout the book, we find out very early on when he first kind of propositions Alexa in the elevator and asks her, would you be my date to this wedding? He tells her right off the bat, I'm not a girlfriend guy, and I'm from Southern California, they're up in Northern California, and so she knows from the get-go that he's not a girlfriend guy, and this is going to be a short-term thing. So there's this kind of constant conflict between her worried that she has feelings for him, but she knows it can't go anywhere, and she's worried she's going to get hurt, and then he knows that he has kind of this fear of commitment, and he always wants to end things before it gets too serious so he doesn't get hurt. And so this kind of goes throughout the book, and of course at some point that is going to kind of come to a head, and it did. And one thing that, as I'm reading this is like the third romance I've ever read, and one thing that I don't like in a romance, in any story actually, is kind of the uncomfortable part between where the major conflict kind of rears its head and then is resolved. I don't like that part, and so I was worried about, in reading that, like, how motivated am I to continue to read? And it was at least short enough, or I was entertained enough during those times that I was able to stick right with it, and I really enjoyed the characters, and so I was happy to be with the characters when they're on their own, and especially, of course, happy to get to be with the characters when they were together. So really enjoyed that book. But I just got 3 new books today. I got a haircut, and I was driving back to the office, and my car just drove itself to the used bookstore, Trent's Bookworm, and I picked up a few brand new condition books. When No One Is Watching Here by Alyssa Cole looks like it's never even been opened before. A little tattered around the top, but I mean, it literally looks like this book has never been opened before, and I think I'm actually going to start that right now. I also got the hardback 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes. This is a Greek retelling. Not sure which one. It's of the Trojan War. It's like a woman's account, or women's perspective of the Trojan War, and I know that what's her name? She's a children's author. I'm blanking on her name all of a sudden. Anna James. Anna James really liked this book. The former booktuber and author of the Tilly and the Book Wanderer series. I know that she really raved about this book, and it was, I think, her favorite of the kind of recent Greek retellings. And then I also found The Pull of the Stars by Emma Donoghue. I have not read Room by her. I know it was made into a movie. I didn't know of it as a book at the time it came out as a book. I hate the cover of it so badly that it just kind of makes me not interested in the book. But I read The Wonder by her and absolutely loved it. And I almost picked this up new at my local used bookstore, but instead I got a brand new condition, at least, hardcover for $7. So I will take it. So I think, as I said, oops, sorry, I just bumped you. I am sweating. I need to get into that pool. I think I'll probably just like sit on the steps in the water. But anyway, I think I'm going to just kind of stay with the fast-paced kind of thing and read the thriller When No One Is Watching. So all I know about this is, well, I know what the back of the book told me. Basically, Sydney Green, the main character, lives in Brooklyn, and all of her neighbors are like moving away to the suburbs. Or are they? Is there something happening? Maybe a conspiracy theory, something like that. So this is what I'm going to read next. I'd love to know from you, when you're having kind of a slumpy time, what kind of books do you turn to? Do you change things up? Do you go to the more familiar? Do you choose a more of a genre type fiction? That seems to be what's working for me at the moment. Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. See you around the tubes.